I think we had to close week 1 of the NFL season, I think we should have a little roundtable conversation about what we saw last night in Santa Clara as the San Francisco 49ers gave you a pants-off worthy performance offensively.
Did you have your pants off?
I didn't. I had them on, but if there was a moment to take your pants off,
it was
with regard to quality offensive football. That was it.
It was pants-off mentality.
Yes. Early in the season for that offense to be working in that manner against a defense that is supposed to be a top 10 defense.
The way they moved downfield, the Jets, early in that game, and they were going to Garrett Wilson, I'm like, this is going to be a game, and it could be interesting. They could be matching each other. And then the next thing you know, they just...
Then the 49ers exercised their superiority.
Yes.
I will say this, though. Personally, I felt like Aaron Rodgers looked pretty damn good for a guy who hadn't played in 18 months.
That's why I don't think, Greeny called it a disaster, and I don't think the results were disastrous. It's disappointing.
Not when you go to Santa Clara to play the 49ers.
Right. And he came out of there unscathed, and I still think he can do some good things. I think they pointed out, too, on their show that I believe it was the worst time of possession Aaron Rodgers has ever been on the other side of.
That's right. You got to get off your defense. Got to get off the field. You got to make a stop. They were churning first downs. Were you guys impressed?
Hell yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I thought the Niners had all that offseason turbulence. Thought maybe it'd be a little bit slower of a start. Now they did kick a lot of field goals in that game. Wasn't a lot of drives ending in touchdowns there, but still, it was very impressive.
At the end of the day, how many points, did they score against the top
32? Yeah. 32, yeah.
Not only did they have offseason turbulence, and yes, Ayuk dropped that touchdown that he should have had. And Peyton Manning gave it to him, too, by the way. I don't know if you saw the clip.
I was thinking the same thing, Silvy. You're going to demand $30 million a year.
You got to make that catch.
Well, and he's like, that's why you got to have a camp, too. He was saying, that's why you have to be in camp.
How about Trent Williams, though, playing pretty much every snap, and then he had to leave with 5 minutes to go to get an IV.
And, of course, one of the most valuable offensive players in the league is out of the game. Yeah. And you still did what you did.
Well, Trent played the majority of the game.
But you meant Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
I'm talking about McCaffrey being out.
That was my overwhelming thought, though, was that we were told it was a calf all training camp, and then last night it was all of a sudden an Achilles. And Schefter pregame is saying that he very likely could miss week 2 as well.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure they're playing the long game here, and they want to make sure he's healthy for the playoffs. However, I don't like, that dynamic running back dealing with an Achilles injury. He better get 100% right. Otherwise, I'm concerned about the 49ers for the long term.
By the way, after the game, Mason told ESPN's Lisa Salters in an on-field interview that he found out maybe Friday night. That he would get his first NFL start. Shanahan said no such decision was made until Monday when McCaffrey arrived at Levi Stadium with his injury bothering him a little too much where he didn't feel good about it. Shanahan added that he didn't inform Mason he was starting until Monday and suggested that perhaps running backs coach Bobby Turner or another coach told Mason he was starting as a way to pump him up earlier in the week.
Come on now. I mean, you're not...
Because there have been questions about them tinkering with the injury report.
That's right. That's all that is. Don't you think they knew?
I think there were some fantasy football people that were beside themselves.
Sure. And this is a lot of implications, gambling and other things.
Yes.
You can't hide that. And that's why Shanahan is now totally trying to shut that down. Saying, no, he misunderstood it. Why would Mason say on Friday that he was, or why would Mason say in the post game that he was told on Friday?
Shanny had an answer.
Well, an answer that, do you really believe? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, again, Schefter's saying in the pregame that he might miss week 2.
Yeah.
By the way, the Steelers are again preparing for Justin Fields to start. That's not a surprise.
Or is it because of
Russ
his
is feeling better? Russ is feeling better, they say. But if you're Mike Tomlin, you think that at this point, I don't think this is a hard decision.
You get one more week of seeing what Fields can do. Will you get one more week of Russ getting healthier?
Absolutely.
And then if
playing Denver this week.
And then if Fields gets better, you stay with Fields.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, you get Russ back healthier to come back. But didn't you think Russ would want to play against his former team?
I would think so, yes. He says he's feeling a little bit better, but...
And remember, Justin had a decent game, I want to say, against Denver last year.
Yes, he had a really good game against the Falcons last year as well.
Yeah.
So the NFL is investigating the latest lawsuit against Deshaun Watson. I know it's something we have talked about. Courtesy of the NFL, we are reviewing the complaint, and we will look into the matter under the personal conduct policy, not looking at commissioner's exempt list, as there's been no formal charges, and the league's review has just begun, according to the league's spokesman, Brian McCarthy. According to the lawsuit, which was filed in Harris County, Texas, the alleged actions occurred before Watson and a woman who goes by the pseudonym Jane Doe in the court filing were set to have dinner at the woman's apartment.
It's a crazy story.
What happened to him?
I don't know. Very odd, too.
I think the bigger issue, or not issue, but will the Browns use this as an opportunity to potentially use language in his contract to get out of that
because he sucks.
deal?
Yes. If he was good, they wouldn't. Because he sucks, they will.
This story, reluctant to meet Watson in public, the woman instead agreed to a dinner date at her apartment, according to the lawsuit. On the evening of the date, according to the lawsuit, she said Watson had trouble finding her apartment and began aggressively yelling and screaming at her on the phone, saying he didn't have time for this.
It's very weird.
The lawsuit alleges that while applying makeup in her bathroom, the woman then found Watson completely naked on her bed, laying face down on his stomach. Then requested that the woman massage his buttocks, and the woman tried to appease Watson by rubbing his back rather than his buttocks.
She's not even a masseuse, and that's what she said to him. And I that's his thing. It doesn't matter if he's there for a massage or not. He just gets naked and starts telling people to massage his ass. It's so weird.
He was on the arc to be one of the elite quarterbacks in the league before the injury, and B, before all of this. It's one of the weirder sports stories I can remember over the course of the last several decades. It is unbelievable. All right, we need to take a break, but when we come back, I do have a somewhat of a decent UFO story.
Oh, good.
And I have a couple other stories that Tyler has presented me that I think are quite entertaining. It turned out to be a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. People thought it was a UFO crossing the sky over New York City, and it was just a SpaceX rocket. I want it to be an alien-carrying vessel, but it's not. Billy McFarland says Fyre Fest 2 will take place in April on a private Caribbean island.
Come on now. Who's buying tickets for this?
Dun, 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 dun,
Should we get press passes for it?
Yes.
Do they offer press passes?
You know what we do? I think we purchase a ticket for Tyler and he goes.
I would do it, yeah.
Would you?
What's it? What are the tickets
going for? Cost is. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. Okay, ticket prices will range from $1,400 on the low end to $1.1 million for the most expensive package.
What do you mean, okay?
That will include luxury yachts, scuba diving, and island hopping. You will not be given that ticket, Tyler. But I think maybe a $1,400 ticket to send you to Fyre Fest 2 may be worth. I could write that off, couldn't I?
Oh, no. You know the yacht is a rowboat with an umbrella in the middle of it.
Definitely.
I do believe, he went to jail for this the first time. The New York City entrepreneur claimed he has hired a festival production company to handle the stages and the bathrooms and all that stuff that I clearly don't know how to do. He declined to provide the name of the island or the production company, noting that more details will be revealed in the next few months. He added that the festival has not yet booked its artists, whereas he gave himself only 6 months from the idea for the first Fyre Fest to its attempted execution. McFarland said he has spent a full year working on Fyre Fest 2 with more than 7 months to go.
This is the ultimate shame on you versus shame on me thing. If you fall for this a second time, it's shame on it should be shame on me. Shame on the person who's buying tickets.
I think we send him.
If
April
you guys send me, I will
April 28th. Says he's hoping to gather about 3,000 people for Fyre Fest 2. If I purchase the $1,400 ticket, will you go?
I got to see what it gets me, but in all likelihood, yes. As long as I'm not being shoved in a locker
mean,
for
I
this
think you
thing?
have to. You should
is
be
in Waddle's
accounting
high
for
school.
that. Yeah. Like if you're buying, you
I
get a
think,
luxury.
Listen, it's buyer beware. It's Fire
Yes.
Fest too.
A luxury
you come
villa.
in with your eyes open.
A luxury
And
villa
also-
is a cot.
You may be sleeping in a mud puddle.
Assume
I
you're
spent
sleeping in a mud
$1,400
puddle.
for you to sleep in the mud for 3 days.
Of course you would. Good to know what you think of me.
It'd be good show material. It's for
It
content.
would, yeah. It would.
I maybe even get it subsidized upstairs by Danny.
Didn't P.T. Barnum say there's a sucker born every minute?
That is correct.
This is the ultimate testament to that. If you're buying tickets to Fyre Fest 2 after what happened there the first time,
I bet you
and he
Big
went
Cat
to
would
jail,
go.
not to pay. Would he pay? Or, I mean, it's because he's so damn rich.
Yeah. Tyler, you think about it? Let's circle back. Let's
When
give
did-
it a
you said
couple
it's
of
April,
weeks.
right?
It's April.
It's April.
Third week April.
When do you have to buy them by?
I
Does it
don't
say?
know. My guess is they're not going to be sold out. So we'll have plenty
I
of
don't
time.
know. Like, I feel like they might sell out because there's intrigue for it.
No, they won't.
I think
Well, I don't think they're going to sell out the $1.1 million.
Yeah, that's where you're
that
getting
one
a
maybe
little
not.
aggressive.
Yeah.
I think Tyler's right though. There's a name brand recognition here.
Name brand.
Like people want to see the
Yes.
car
Like
crash.
the Exxon Valdez, like the name brand.
Listen, I'm thinking about forking over $1,400 to send him.
Yeah, I'm not in on that. I'm not splitting
This
that.
is a car
halvesies.
crash situation. People want to.
Yeah, people
want
want
to
to
gawk.
Yeah, they want to see the fire.
You may find out, Tyler, this is the greatest weekend of your entire
It
life.
might be.
You just rolling the
might
dice.
be.
Yes. You'd have to create content for the show. I mean, you'd
Oh,
have
really?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
sending
I'll do
Yes.
whatever you guys like, videos.
for a YouTube
Yes.
channel?
yeah.
I'll do hits,
Come
whatever
on,
you
that's
guys
a great
need.
investment. You know what? I'm not writing it off if you're not writing it off.
What does
Let's
that mean?
go with you.
Wait,
what
you
does that
wanna go
mean?
with me?
Let's go.
Now you're in too.
Maybe.
Wait, what was that line? I'm not writing it off if you're not writing it
Yeah,
off. What does that mean?
Is that what I said?
Yes.
No, I'm
No,
not.
no.
I mean, what I'm saying is I'm good with this as long as you're good with it. I'm not going to say no as long as you're not going to say no right now. We're going to give this
I thought
time
you were
to
talking
breathe.
about tax write-off.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
did
write
too
it
for a
off.
second
Of course
there.
I'm
But
gonna
then
write it off.
you spun yourself into wanting to
did.
go now.
Now I did, yeah. Depending on whether or not it's something that probably not going to go, but I won't rule that out. But I don't want to also rule. I think this is not one of these crazy things that I'm saying that when we walk out of here tonight, I go, no, we're not doing that. This is open.
Text your family right now and say, hey, thinking about going to Fyre Fest 2. Just see what the response is.
Do they
hold
know
on.
what it is? I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah, I
girls
feel like-
probably
yes,
do.
his-
Does
Yeah,
Connor
definitely
know?
based off of the. I mean, I
Okay,
feel
I'll
like
send it
everyone
out.
kind of knows
I do have a family text
because of
whole
the
family.
documentaries.
Chris
Family.
tweets us and he says, I produce festivals and concerts for a living. Don't take that guy seriously. No one in the music industry does. It's a total scam. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I did.
You're
So what?
ignoring. You're choosing to ignore. He's a festival producer.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't
look,
care.
listen, I think this is no question. It's buyer beware.
It's a buyer. Stay away. Not beware.
Okay, we'll see what they say. I said, hey, I'm thinking about going to Fyre Fest 2. What do you think? We'll see what my daughters say. I got a bit of advice for you. It comes from Chesterfield, Virginia. Do not store guns in your oven. Loaded gun stored in an oven fires multiple rounds after getting overheated. So if you've got guns, don't store them in your oven.
This is it's not quite this serious, but that is good advice.
Yeah.
I would say that doesn't mix.
Sometimes the advice is obvious. Sometimes it's not. Chesterfield firefighters responded to a call regarding a fire. When firefighters opened the oven, they found a gun inside. Please do not store guns or anything else in your oven, the fire department said. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Keep them somewhere secure.
When we first had Mason, when Mason was born, we lived in the Ukrainian village. And I've told you this story before, but it was a while ago. So people may not have heard this. We lived in a duplex and we were in the third floor of the building. The people on the first floor, for whatever reason, stored fire logs inside their propane barbecue. Okay? For whatever reason, they turned on their barbecue. Like when Mason was like 6 days old, we had just brought him home like a day or two before that. And all of a sudden,
it's not good.
There's a fire on their patio. And we're upstairs. Someone starts ringing all the bells of our apartment saying, and they go, and we go, yes. And they go, there's someone's patio is on fire on the first floor. We thought you guys should know. So we look out, and sure enough, there's black smoke coming out. And like, we're evacuating our condo with our newborn baby in hand, and the fire department has to come. Because you're storing fire logs in your propane barbecue.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't put guns in your oven.
No.
By the way, I've gotten responses.
Okay.
I sent the text to the family text chain.
Let me guess who the first to respond
I'm thinking about going to Fyre Fest too. What do you think?
Angela responded first.
Nope.
Georgia.
Nope.
Cara.
Nope.
Oh, Leah was first.
Leah's the creative one. Yeah. Dad, you don't get off the couch. My wife responds with, what is Fyre Fest?
Yeah, I knew she wouldn't know.
Leah then goes, you're not going anywhere but the fridge or the pantry, my guy. Then Emerson from Paris has the arrow pointing up to what Leah sends and then says, isn't that a scam festival? Followed by my wife saying, hi, Em. Emerson says, hi, family, miss you all. My wife says, how's it going? Good, busy. My sleep schedule stinks, but I'm sure you guys are feeling that as well.
How great is that they all responded in like 4 minutes to a Fyre Fest text?
Well, then it turned into talking to my daughter who's overseas.
That's
going
great.
to school.
You're bringing them all together.
Yeah. My daughter, Leah's spot on. You don't go anywhere but the fridge or the pantry, my guy.
I like that she just calls you my guy. You don't know me well enough.
I'm not going to Fyre Fest, Tyler, but I may be sponsoring your trip.
You're bailing?
Well, she's probably spot on.
Yeah, you think?
But you keep
You're
that.
Not Ferda.
We're keeping it open. Keeping it open.
Do you know how hard it is to get you to Soldier Field?
I know, it's impossible. Leah's right. I'm not getting off the couch. But I'm sending Tyler to Fyre Fest.
All right,
that's it.
Wilbon's coming up. I just want to make sure I have this correct. Wilbon thought it would be better for the Bears to lose than to win in the opener. Isn't that what he originally said?
I don't know if he said it would be better for them to lose than win, but he didn't think it was as important as we did to get off to a start with a win.
Was this the best of both worlds? Because he thinks getting over some early season struggles is a good thing. So now they can get over some early season struggles with what I wanted, the must win the first game. We'll talk to Wilbon coming up next.
This is Waddle and Silvy. On Chicago's home for sports, ESPN Chicago.